Hello, and welcome to Dugout Debrief. I'm your host, Chris Deluca. This is Boone Broadcasting's one, first, and only baseball-centric podcast, and we are back here after a week off, our first week post-All-Star break. We had an All-Star game, had the break there, the Home Run Derby, Futures game, MLB Draft, so a lot happening in that, few-day time off period. A couple teams went into the break really hot, such as the Boston Red Sox. A couple teams really cold, like the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'll be talking a little bit about how they've fared here in the week or so almost since the All-Star break. With that being said, we'll just go ahead and start with the news here of the week. And the National League wins the 2025 All-Star Game in Atlanta with the first tiebreaker of its kind. It's a home run tiebreaker, home run off, I think is what they call it. That was sealed by Kyle Schwarber hitting 3 straight home runs. As far as I could tell, the parameters of that were the top or the managers of both clubs, which are the World Series managers of the American League and National League teams, respectively, basically choose 3 hitters from each one of their teams. Kyle Schwarber was one of the ones that Dave Roberts chose. He was the final one Dave Roberts chose, and he ended up hitting 3 straight home runs. And then the overall goal is to hit the most out of those 3 selected. Speaking of home runs, Cal Raleigh wins the home run derby, beating out Junior Caminero in an 18-15 final. Cal Raleigh beat out Brent Rooker via tiebreaker. That was 0.8 feet in distance. I actually didn't realize that the tiebreaker for the home run derby was by distance. I always kind of thought they would just do like a little best of 3 home run off, kind of like the aforementioned up to All-Star break or All-Star game rather tiebreaker that they came up with after the last CBA. But I think it should be best of 3. I think that wouldn't take that much time. They could do that. Plus, it gives more time for commercials anyway. But that is what it is. Cal Raleigh completely deserving of the home run derby. He was probably the favorite going in overall. According to Vegas, and then he was probably my second one. I had James Wood faring a little bit better. Obviously, Jazz Chisholm really struggled there, so that was interesting to see him struggle. Interesting, first home run derby in recent memory, not to see Pete Alonso either, so that fell a little bit out of place. But overall, an entertaining one. I'm excited to see how it'll be next year. I'm usually not actually a big fan of the All-Star game as a whole. I don't hate it. It's just kind of, it doesn't mean anything. It shouldn't mean anything. I thought it was ridiculous when it determined home field advantage last year. Or sorry, previously, not last year, but previously determined home field advantage up until I think 2012, 2013 CBA. They got rid of that. That was ridiculous, actually making it mean something. It shouldn't. I think out of all the sports, the MLB probably does it the best. Obviously, the NHL no longer does an All-Star game. The NFL has more done the Pro Bowl as a skills competition thing, which I think is better. But I think I think the NFL end up doing away with it as a whole. And really, that leaves the NBA and the MLB. And the NBA, similar to the MLB, one of the more watched events is a competition before, a skills competition before, obviously the NBA, the dunk competition, even though superstars aren't really as involved as they used to be, is still one of the more exciting events, skills competition events, and the home run derby, of course, because it's 2 of the most exciting aspects of those 2 respective sports. But I digress with that. Congratulations, Cal Raleigh, for winning the 2025 Home Run Derby. I really hope we get to see more superstars in it. Hopefully we get to see Pete Alonso next year. Hopefully we get to see Aaron Judge in it next year. But we'll see. Cal Raleigh, we'll be talking about him too a little bit later on this episode because we're going to be kind of doing a little bit of review here of the award predictions. What I had earlier. We're going to go take a look at the standings, kind of just base it on what I had previously. Nothing too crazy, just kind of a general discussion. Here in the past 2 weeks, we had a pair of players announce their retirement as well. Kyle Gibson announced his retirement, and Daniel Bard also announced his retirement. Kyle Gibson played for the Twins, the Orioles, the Rangers, Phillies, and St. Louis Cardinals. He was an All-Star in 2021, and that was the Texas Rangers. He got traded at that deadline, and he had a 4.60 ERA over his career. Daniel Bard He played for the Rockies and the Red Sox with a 3.74 ERA, 66 saves over 9 years. And fun fact, he did not play in the major leagues between 2013 and 2020. He came back and had like a 1.92 ERA the next year. So yeah, 2013 to 2020, he was not in Major League Baseball. So he had quite a long hiatus, but he announced his retirement. He was actually someone this offseason that was kind of hoping that a fringe team would sign for the bullpen, someone like Toronto or something, but he never actually got signed. I didn't even just realize that until now when he announced his retirement. The MLB draft, I mentioned that happened. Eli Willits got drafted first overall by the Washington Nationals at 17 years old. He is the third youngest player to ever be drafted out of high school into the MLB. He is currently committed to Oklahoma. He's currently committed to be a Sooner. So we'll actually see. I mean, I assume he's going to go to the league because that's a lot more money. You can't really boost your draft stock more than first overall. Ethan Holiday, who is the number one projected guy going into the draft, he went to his dad's team, the Colorado Rockies, team that drafted his dad. So I believe he dropped down to sixth overall. But yeah, it's interesting to see someone who's already committed to college go first overall. So we'll see how that works out. A lot of Nationals fans I know are not happy. So if you're a Nationals fan, give me your opinion in the comments. Byron Buxton hits for the cycle against the Pirates on this bobblehead night. He's also had a pretty solid series against the struggling Dodgers. Garrett Crochet throws a complete game against the Rays with 9 Ks and only 3 hits given up. So you don't see these very much. Last time we talked about this, we talked about Tarek Tugel's performance a few months ago, which is, in my opinion, one of the most dominant performances in recent MLB history. And Garrett Crochet puts up a fight with that for the most dominant performances in 2025. DJ LeMahieu got DFA'd by the New York Yankees. He was a big pickup for them back in 2018, I believe, is when he's left the Rockies for the Yankees. He finished third in MVP voting in 2020 with a 364 batting average, 1.011 OPS, and a 160 OPS plus. He also got a silver slugger that year. He's racked up a decent amount of those over his career. He really struggled last year. Negative 1.6 WAR over 266 batting average, and this past year he had a 0.7 WAR. Healthy, he's been a great averager and a good glove. It's just not really been adding up for him in New York. He'll probably be their next scapegoat. We'll see who they choose now that he's gone. He was their next scapegoat because the Yankees always have one. So we'll see who they choose. Now that LeMahieu's gone, there's a couple. I mean, Volpe is getting there. He's leading the league in errors. So we'll see if that's who the Yankees decide to blame for a losing streak next. Ohtani becomes the first player since the first player since the 1970s to give up a home run and then hit a home run in the first inning against the Twins on Monday. So he gave up a home run in the first inning. Then he came back and he hit a 2-run shot to take the lead. The Dodgers ended up winning that game, and they dropped the next one. So it's been an up and down series for the Dodgers after the All-Star break. And then finally, some just cool news here. Rich Hill becomes the oldest pitcher since Jamie Moyer, age 45. I believe Moyer was 49. He joins his 14th club, the Kansas City Royals. He had a start against the Royals on Tuesday night, and it's just really cool to see him go out there and still be pitching. I mean, I remember him with the Dodgers. He's played for, almost half the league. He's one club away from being played for half the league. So just a wild career Rich Hill has had. But yeah, with that being said, that is the news of the week we're going to go through. We're going to hop into the standings predictions, kind of compare what I had at the beginning of the year back in February, whenever I did that. And then we're going to compare it to what we have now. We're also going to go through the awards briefly, kind of do a comparison there. So in the American League East, I had the Yankees being the best team in baseball, followed by the Red Sox having a wild card. Then I had the Orioles also having a wild card. So far, that Orioles one is not aging well, but the Red Sox one is aging well. That is one that I am proud of here. I had the Red Sox being the best wild card team. Baltimore obviously couldn't have expected what happened with them. What do I currently have? What do I currently have now? Well, I'm gonna probably say I think I think Toronto can hang on. I don't think they're going to be the best team in the American League. I think Detroit will probably hang on to that. But yeah, let's roll with Toronto. I think Boston has a chance, but will not hop New York. So we'll stick what it is right now: Toronto, New York, and Boston. Three playoff teams out of the East. Moving on to the Central. I had Cleveland being the division winner, Kansas City getting a wild card, and I had the White Sox being the worst team in the American League. I'm going to say now I actually had Detroit being the first team off, which definitely did not age well. I think Detroit will be the best team in the American League in first place in retrospect, and then give me Cleveland over. It's tough. Cleveland, depending on how hot they stay, it's tough. Yeah, give me just Cleveland. Give me Cleveland, the only playoff team out of Central. Moving on, and then the White Sox still being the worst in the American League. Moving on to the West. Moving on to the American League West, we had the Texas Rangers being the best team in the West. Mariners, Astros, A's, Angels missing the playoffs. So for the final division winner, give me the Houston Astros, and then for the wild card, give me the Seattle Mariners getting that final wild card, getting back into the playoffs, and hopefully being able to make the World Series for the first time in their history. Fun fact, they're the only team to never make the World Series. So that's the American League, a little bit revised here as we, kind of go through this and audibling this around. And then in the National League East, I had the Philadelphia Phillies topping the National League East, with wild card being the New York Mets, Braves in third, Nationals in fourth, Marlins in last. Obviously, the Marlins have weirdly been not that bad, 47-53, actually in third place. National League East has been quite disappointing this year, to say the least. So far, that's aging well. I'm going to stick with that. I have the top two accurate, and I think that it's going to stick like that. May switch, but as of right now, the Mets are behind by half a game of the Phillies. So give me the Phillies winning that division, Mets being the wild card. Then the Central, I had the Brewers being the only playoff team out of the Central. I had the Cubs missing the playoffs, being the first off, followed by the Reds, Pirates, and the Cardinals in last. Obviously, the Cardinals have not aged well, being 2 games above 500. The Cubs are one of the best teams in baseball right now with 60 wins. So I am going to say that I think that the Brewers are going to pass the Cubs. I think the Brewers are still going to win that division. I think the Cubs are going to be a wild card. So we're taking away a wild card from the West. Give me Brewers winning the division, Cubs still being a wild card, though. And we're going to be taking a wild card away from the Arizona Diamondbacks. But in the West, we're going to have the Dodgers being the best team in the National League, winning the National League West. Then the Padres in second being a wild card, and then remove the Diamondbacks, replace them with the Cubs. That is our retrospect here. And by the way, I had the Colorado Rockies being the worst team in baseball overall. So there we go. That's been right so far. That's been accurate. Quick little run up with that. Now we're going to go move on to our post All-Star Game awards. So I had Bobby Witt Jr. in the American League. A lot of people had him. I had Shohei Ohtani. I'm going to go move it to Aaron Judge. I want it to be Cal Raleigh so bad, but unfortunately, Aaron Judge, 1, has the market, 2, has the edge in batting average, and with the people that do vote on these things, batting average is something that's really taken into account, and Judge does have the WAR too, so both sides of that are going to probably still go with Judge. He also has a New York media market, which obviously Cal Raleigh does not have, but who knows? Maybe he gets the average up. We'll see. I think it's close between Ohtani and PCA, but I'm going to stick with Shohei Ohtani. I just think that the name, it really just depends on how much WAR is taken into effect here. PCA is a great overall ball player, but with Ohtani returning to pitching, I think that just pushes him over the edge, especially because he's been decent. Both my Cy Young picks have either missed time or have been okay. I mean, Logan Webb was my National League one. He's been pretty solid, not to what I expected. Pablo Lopez obviously has missed a lot of time. Now, Skubal, I have him running it back. He had the most dominant start in MLB history, if you ask me here recently. And then Zach Wheeler. I think Zach Wheeler finally gets over. Wheeler has pretty much always been the second best. He's always finished second Cy Young voting. I think this year he finally gets over simply because he has a team behind him. Paul Skeens objectively is the better pitcher, but Paul Skeens just does not have the organization behind him. Paul Skeens, I think I read something that if he just got like 3 to 4 runs a game, he would be undefeated this year. For every single game that he started, he would have a win. So just proves how dominant he is. But Zach Wheeler has that great team behind him. He has those Phillies teams behind him that are just really good right now. So give me Skubal, give me Wheeler. Comeback player of the year. I had Shane McClanahan. He has not played at all in 2025, unfortunately. Then I had Ronald Acuna Jr. Yeah, I'm going to be sticking with Ronald Acuna Jr. by a mile here for the National League. I mean, I think that one aged pretty darn well. He's been doing really, really good this year in his, half of a half season that he's played. Then for the American League, give me Javier Baez. I mean, what a turnaround that guy's done. He has doubled his WAR since last year. He had a negative 1.1 WAR. Now he has a 2 WAR, better in batting average, better just overall. Already hit 4 more home runs than he did last year. He's batting 273 this year as opposed to 184. OBS of 307. Slugging of 435, and then an OPS plus of 105 compared to his 45 last year. Just overall much better. He's being more involved, better glove. I think that he can finish top 10 in AL MVP voting this year, which is really good. So it's good to see Javi Baez playing well again. So give me Baez, give me Acuna Jr. for comeback player of the year here in retrospect. Manager of the year. Now, I had Alex Cora and Pat Murphy. I think those are both good picks. I'm still going to go with Alex Cora. I think Alex Cora has really led a Red Sox team that a lot of people were not that big on going into 2025. Thought they had a lot of holes and had a hard competition around them with Baltimore and New York, and Tampa being good too, Toronto as well. Obviously, Baltimore not what we expected. I think John Schneider in Toronto might edge him out, but we'll see how that works. And then obviously AJ Hitch could as well, seeing what he's been doing with the Tigers. I'm still going to roll with Cora, and I'm still going to roll with Murphy with how hot the Brewers have been. And, the Brewers are going to brew, similar to the Rays are going to rain. Rookie of the year, I had Dylan Cruz in the National League, and I had Jackson Jobe for the American. Jobe hasn't really played much. Dylan Cruz has been hurt most of the year. Give me Jacob Wilson, then give me Jacob Mizorowski having a great year so far. Controversial all-star selection, but I was happy to see him. I was happy to see him there. Guys I was big on that have turned out pretty good here in 2025. I mean, guys like Nick Pivetta, I was really big on him. Lawrence Butler has been fantastic this year, finally breaking out. Ozzie Albies finally healthy and playing at an elite level. And obviously Stephen Kwan too. He was up there. He was up there as all-star starter. So you'd love to see all these guys doing well. Nick Pivetta especially. I think he's going to contend for a Cy Young at some point too. Will he get it? Probably not. It's really hard. Stack National League with Skeens and Wheeler. But it would be fun to see. Great pickup by the Padres of Nick Pivetta. So, series of the week. We got a pair of weekend series here. We got the Dodgers visiting the Red Sox this weekend. Dodgers still sliding. The Red Sox are trying to continue that pre-All-Star momentum that they had. They went in with 11 straight wins. And the Dodgers have been sliding 3 and 7, I think, over the last 10. Struggling against the Twins, struggling out of the gate, struggling into the gate, out of the gate with the All-Star break. So World Series rematch. I would love to see the Dodgers be able to turn it around. They have a few weird interleague series. Like I said, the Twins. Now they got the Red Sox. So we're getting this interleague out of the way, see what we can do with that. And then I got the Blue Jays at the Tigers. You have one of the hottest teams in baseball playing against the best team in baseball. These are the best teams in the American League. I mean, this in theory could determine who will top the American League and get that bye. So, give me this one's going to be close, especially if you see Skubal. He's always just fun to watch play. And moving on to power rankings, we got a decent amount of changes here from last time. At number 5, we have the Boston Red Sox. Number 4, we have the New York Yankees. They're best friends, obviously. Number 3, we have the red hot Milwaukee Brewers. Number 2, we have the Toronto Blue Jays. And then at number 1, with the best team in the National League right now, Chicago Cubs. So book it in for this week here at the end of July. And I just can't believe, ladies and gentlemen, it's already the end of July. The summer's flying by. Next thing you know, it'll be time for NFL coverage. You'll be seeing the Gridiron Address airing every Sunday between the 4 o'clock games and Sunday Night Football with Aaron Schneider. Hopefully I'll sometime be able to get on there. We'll see how that works out for me. But make sure to tune into that. They've been posting here, and then I've not been able to make it so far due to my schedule, but hopefully eventually I can make it on there. So trivia. We're going to do a trivia, and we are going to be done for the week here, ladies and gentlemen. Last week, who leads the who is the all-time wins leader in the All-Star Game? So who has the most, the American League or the National League? Well, it just got a little bit closer this week, ladies and gentlemen, this past week, because it was 48-45 now, with 2 ties for the American League, with 48 leading. And then this week, in honor of Rich Hill making his return to the mound against for the Kansas City Royals, what team drafted Rich Hill? What team did he debut with? And it was a while ago. It was in 2006. And there's a weird little degree of separation between him and a couple legends, which I'll mention next week. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I want to once again thank you for tuning into Dugout Debrief this week. We took a week off, and we're back here with our post All-Star Game coverage. And just make sure to subscribe to Boom Broadcasting. Make sure to watch all this great content on this channel. There's so much great stuff to watch here. We love talking sports. We love talking movies. We love talking about everything. And this is a great community, and it's a great opportunity. I hope you guys have a great week, and I will see you next week.